The Force Losers Podcast with Brad and Kev.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me to start recording. I'm glad that I clicked it and I have it running, and because I didn't trust you. But
Hi, Bubby.
I'm glad I have it recording just so that way there's my line of silence for that.
Hi, Bubby.
Have you been? Well, I know how you've been. Tell everyone how you've been.
I got the COVID.
You got COVID finally.
Yeah, so we were okay.
One of us,
So
one of us.
So there's a backstory to all of this, right? Like
Yeah.
we had set up last weekend to record, and I have a new laptop, right? So we had some technical issues when we were recording because this new laptop, I hadn't gotten all through all the updates.
Dipshit hadn't updated it yet.
Yes. So like we had like nothing but like half an hour of like I couldn't see or hear him through the StreamYard thing that we used to actually talk to each other. Yeah. So we had to scrap it, right? And Saturday was the same day that my mother-in-law tested positive for COVID. You go to Sunday night and I started getting a little scratch in the throat and I was like, no, right? And like I 2 years, you know,
Yeah.
2 years. And so Monday morning I wake up and like literally overnight all of my joints aged like 50 years.
Yeah.
And I felt like dog shit, man. So I got up, threw a mask on, went downstairs, took one of the at-home tests, and I was just staring at it like, oh no.
Yeah.
And it was Labor Day, right? So I had to call my boss on Labor Day and be like, hey, so how are you doing? No, I'm okay. But I've got the COVID. And thus began one of like the dumbest weeks of my entire life, right?
Oh yeah. No, it hits you hard and it hits you fast.
Dude, I was actually thinking about this because I'm still recovering from it. Like if you hear me going, that's all the drainage, right? So I was thinking about this throughout the week, like because for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday were kind of rough. And I was like, man, this is Omicron, right? And if it's this rough, I can't even imagine what the first wave of COVID had to feel like if you caught that shit.
Well, I mean, that's the one that killed most people, isn't it?
Dude, like this one sucked.
That's the one that was hospitalizing people.
Yeah, and like this was like to me it felt like a low level flu almost, you know, but still like. And then this is the weirdest thing, right? I don't do well with being idle, right? So knowing that all the other guys at work are grinding away and I'm sitting here convalescing, I was like begging my boss, I'm like, give me some work to do, man. Give me something. Give me anything. Like I need to feel like I'm being productive. I can't just sit here and stew in my own juices. Like I have to go do something. Thankfully, they kicked enough work to my way that I felt like I wasn't gold bricking the entire week. Which again comes up with another problem. What did it say about me that I can't even take a week off to be sick?
That you won't let yourself take the week off to be sick.
Yep, that's accurate.
Not a matter of you. Like when you say it the first way, you make it sound like your boss is like, "Oh, you're fine. Go to work." You make it sound like your bosses are my bosses.
Well, no, but here's the reality, right? Like if it was just a cold and it wasn't COVID, I would have been at work, which brings up another moral quandary. Is that any better? Is it any better for me to go spread something like the common cold as opposed to COVID?
I'd say yes.
Right? Okay, so it's just, it brings up a whole bunch of...
If I'm thinking about it, like, as someone who's had COVID, like, honestly, I would rather people go out and spread the common cold than fucking COVID.
Yeah.
And I didn't get hit hardly. Like, my COVID experience was like allergies. Like,
lucky.
It barely, like... But I mean, what does that tell you? That if I had COVID and all it felt like to me was, it's just a cold. What does that tell you about my like normal state on a daily basis?
that you probably put up with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
You're weird. You're fucking weird.
Just, I'm a mutant.
No, but here's the weirdest part. My wife was the only one in this house that didn't catch it. To this day, she has still not caught this thing.
I can imagine that, like, your wife is just too mean for COVID.
She would be.
Like,
She would be.
I can just imagine that, I imagine like the moment you told her, "Hey, babe, I have COVID," she just probably whipped off like a sandal or some shit, and she's like, "You better stay 6 feet away from me, boy."
No, it's funny. It's funny. Dude, no, it's funny. Like, because when I first told her that, like, yeah, I got a positive test, she was like, well, just fight it. It's all in your head. You could just fight it. Just keep fighting it. Just keep fighting it. And I'm like, viruses don't work that way. But she's also, the wife is very spiritual, and I'm very empirical. We couldn't be more polar opposites, because she's like, just manifest it and just keep fighting. You can make it go away. And I'm like, this is not.
I'm getting her a fucking what is it for Christmas? I'm gonna get her one of those fucking rocks,
Bro.
What is it? Chakra rocks, or they're supposed to absorb vibes.
Oh, you mean the crystals that
Yes.
are 5 feet to my right?
She's got some. God damn it.
Yes, she does. She's got crystals. She is a crystal. Okay, fun story.
I call it Cosmic Crystal Clan.
Dude. Okay, funny that you say that, because last December when we went to DC, and we went to that fun little adult convention, the Exotica convention, she bought a jade vagina.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's on her crystal shelf. It's a giant jade vagina.
Oh, it's a big one.
Well, it's like the size, like that big. It's like a.
That's not
like
giant.
It's like a 2-inch
It's like
jade
half
vagina.
the size of a normal vagina.
I mean, it's still there. I don't know what she is. I don't know what kind of bad juju she's filtering through that thing. But
if it's like a dream catcher, it's probably making you a god.
you know what though? That's the thing. We balance each other out. She thinks that crystals are a thing, and I'm like, no.
But see, that's why our wives get along so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're the imperialistic, fatalist bastards. And our wives are like the believers in vibes and crystals.
Yeah, I'm just I'm still actively trying to prevent my backsliding into full-on nihilism.
Don't worry, I'll check you if you do.
No, I like it.
But we can't.
I like it.
Happen, Kevin.
No, because like that's why, like, you know, it's funny, we were just talking about Thor: Love and Thunder, right? The more I watch Gore the God Butcher, the more I'm like, hell yeah.
Or the God Butcher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All gods must die.
For some
I'm into
reason, when you said, I was thinking of Korg, not Gorg.
Oh no, I've got I have an action figure of Gore the God Butcher here, and Korg. Korg's my favorite.
No, he shouldn't have a body. He should only have a face.
He came back at the end of the movie. He grew his body back, and now he's a daddy.
Yeah, with another dad.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's why Korg supremacy, dude. Korg supremacy.
What's
But I
their
like Gore
race
the
called?
Cronin.
Cronins?
Yeah, because they have their god is Ninny of the Nani. Because when they went to
when they went to the Council of the Gods.
he goes, "Hey, Ninny Nani." I don't give a fuck what anyone says about Thor: Love and Thunder. If you don't like that, you live a joyless, awful existence, and I feel so sorry for you. If you couldn't find the delight in that movie, you need to seek therapy.
Oh God.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. Because not every goddamn project has to be earth-shattering. It doesn't all have to be Endgame. Sometimes it can be just screaming goats.
I know. It's like, I want to rewatch that movie just for the goats.
Dude, I did a few nights ago, and I was not only was I coughing because of COVID, I was also really high. So like every time the goats would come in, I'd start laughing because I was high, and then immediately go into like this gut wrenching fucking like dry like. It was great. It was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it. But enough talking about me. How have you been?
work's been a bitch.
Well, yeah, we did discuss that earlier today.
Yeah, like I've been passing out like on the couch, not even going to bed or turning anything off before going to bed. It's just literally been me playing video games and go, and then eventually I just don't pick up my head.
Nice. Nice.
Although I will say my Halo skills are still top notch because I can still fall asleep and beat Halo.
You can wait a minute. Rewind. Are you beating Halo in your sleep?
Yes, I can literally beat Halo on... I want to say I did it in normal difficulty. But yeah, like normal difficulty Halo I can beat in my sleep.
While you're sleeping. Like you are actively snoring, but your thumbs are independently moving.
Yeah, like I'll fall asleep like at some point during the game, and I'll wake up to like the end credits.
Bro, do me a favor.
What?
I need video footage of this. I need video footage of this.
If I ever plan on doing it, I will do it. I'll
because let me tell you what I'm going to do to this. I'm going to take that video footage of you sleeping and like dry running your way through Halo, and I'm going to put it to the music from the Karate Kid. You know, you're the best around. Nothing's going to ever keep it down. I'm going to fucking do that. I'm going to do that, and it's going to be a viral sensation.
I mean, can we agree on the video, but the music should be the only thing they have to fear is you from Doom soundtrack.
If that's what you want, I'll do several versions because I want Eye of the Tiger.
Want the Eye of the Tiger, yeah.
I want the 80s montage like of my dreams, but the idea of you doing this while you are sleep gaming.
Yeah, like I don't know if I keep my head up or like if my eyes are open or if I'm like functioning at all, but my consciousness is gone. And I'll come to and the game will be beaten.
This is bizarre,
It's
but I
happened
need...
twice.
Okay, we need video proof. Okay. Set up your webcam and just let her rip.
Oh, God. Just sleep... I don't know, but see, I don't know if it's a matter of, like, sleep deprivation that does it, or if it's literally just I've played Halo so much and I just know what to do, that it's all automatic.
I don't care which of it is. I need to see this. I need to see this. I have a burning need.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. If I'm ever tired enough, I'll try it.
Well, given how you work, I guarantee you will be tired enough again. It will happen.
That's fair.
I know you. Well, I know us. We're both fucking workhorses.
Yeah, I will say though, tomorrow is the first Sunday I will have off in I don't know how long.
Well, praise Jeebus.
Yeah.
I mean, that works out for us. That means we can stay up really late tonight.
Yeah. Like, normally I'll have to call it at, 10 or 12, depending on the day.
Yeah.
But no, not tonight. We'll probably go till about 1 or 2.
Fuck it. I've got 2 0-calorie Mountain Dews with my name on it. I'm locked, cocked, and ready to rock.
This is my... when I finish this, I will have consumed 400 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I know, Mr. 500 plus milligrams in the morning to get up and moving.
Bro, I would love for you to take one of my Seroquel. Take it one time.
Is it a pill?
Like, yeah.
I'll try anything.
I mean, it will knock you...
Well, okay, let me correct that. I'll try anything that you suggest or want me to because I trust you.
I'm only doing this because I would want you to experience the haze/hangover that I wake up with every day.
Oh,
like,
is this something to put you down or?
Well, it's my bipolar meds, right? Now they do use it for people that have insomnia because it will put you out. But anyone out there who does take Seroquel will know when you wake up in the morning, you don't even know where you are. This is how automatic my morning routine is to kind of fight the haze that I get from my meds. If I wake up, doesn't matter what time it is, if it is 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, I will immediately grab for that 5-hour energy. It's an automatic response. I just grab for it. You know how many times I have taken it at 1:30 because my dumbass brain was just like, you need to wake up right now.
See, but I can't afford to take that because I'm going to take one of those, and I'm going to have to make it on one of my days off because I'm going to sleep more than 10 hours. I guarantee it.
Yep.
Because, I just exist in a constant state of sleep deprivation where
Mhm.
I'm always tired. I'm always running on like 2 to 4 hours of sleep because that is how I operate.
That is inhuman.
Like if I'm tired, that's me functioning.
That's
If I
that's
sleep
inhuman.
because if I sleep for 8 to 10, if I sleep for 8 hours, I'll be more tired than if I sleep for 2.
That's
If I take
That's-
a nap in the middle of the day, I will wake up and I will still be like, I'll be more dead than when I went to take the nap. My wife has seen it. She can attest to this.
but okay. I just once. I've got to see you get a full night's sleep.
No.
Like just
won't.
once.
Like, that's the thing, though, is like, especially now that I have a daughter that I have to, like, I have to get up early enough in the morning to make sure that I get her up early enough so that way she'll take her nap in the middle of the day. And then I have to make sure that I stay awake so that way I can wake her up early enough so she goes back to bed for the night.
Fair enough.
And, like, yeah, no, like, sleeping for 8 to 10 hours, like, I won't wake up to her crying. I have to make sure that I stay awake. And, like, if I go down, I'm going to stay down.
Well, that's your own damn fault for procreating. How dare you?
Yeah, I know, right? Eleanor,
Dummy.
No, go away.
Ha! You're being assaulted by your cats.
They've been fed. They're not hungry.
Yeah, I've got all 3 boys up here with me, so I'm just waiting for them to go ballistic at one point.
Well, I know
It's
I
going
saw,
to
I
happen.
think it was Lemmy trying to get out of the room.
Oh, no, it could have been Lemmy or Teddy. They both look very similar.
Oh, do
well,
they?
well, kinda. Yeah, fuck all of them. Fuck all those bastards.
Well, I haven't seen Teddy.
Great. Hold on.
Oh, is your headphones acting up again?
Got it back.
Hey.
We're good. Anyway, now that we're all caught up,
Yeah.
we do have something to talk about tonight, and it's
Something
Good.
that you've been chomping at the bit for 2 years to talk about.
and something I will not apologize for. I will not apologize for the person I am about to become. I have said this before because it's been 2 fucking years that I've been waiting for this thing, and it's here. And of
I'm
course,
excited for you. Like this, like I feel like this is what you felt like when Halo came out.
I mean, like, yeah, it'd be like what you felt like when Halo came out. It'd be exactly what you felt. Like, you've been waiting for something like this, right?
Yeah, and like you finally get it. We both watched the entire thing together, and like every time we talk about it, I'm just gonna sit down. I'm gonna ask you, it's like, so what'd you think?
Yeah. Dude, okay. So, of course, folks, we're talking about Rings of Power,
Yes.
right? Of course, we're talking about Rings of Power. So, if you guys go back through the catalog here, you know, we must have talked about this when it was first announced a couple of years ago, and then it came out that they were doing the Second Age, and it's just been this slow and I would say masterful marketing campaign to get us to this point. And now that we're here, and I said something to the effect earlier that it's just from the jump, from the first episode, I was like, it's Middle Earth. It's Middle Earth. It felt like Middle Earth.
It honestly, I'll second that. It felt like a newer Middle Earth. It's not the Middle Earth that I have come to know from the movies.
Yes.
But it feels like a more I guess primordial Middle Earth would be a better, like there's still like racial tension between everybody that's fresh, not like something that's been stewing for a while.
Right.
There's different world leaders, cities that you're familiar with, countries you're familiar with haven't like come to like become anything yet.
Right. Right. I mean, it's that's the thing. Like I was struck from because the first 2 episodes were the first things that premiered, right? And the first thing I was struck with was like, wow, it feels familiar, but at the same time, it doesn't. At the same time, it's something fresh. It's something new, you know, which is good. I'll admit at first, you know, I was kind of hoping like, okay, if you took the cues from Peter Jackson's films and you ran with that, that'd probably be the wise thing to do because it's something that people would be able to kind of instantly plug right back into.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they did something new and fresh, and they went with kind of all new designs on things. While they did new things, it still feels like Middle Earth.
Oh, yeah.
It has that same texture, that same look, that same vibe to it. And it made it so easy to just relax and then let the story take you. And I mean, from the jump, they hit you with Valinor.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, story aside, like, again, like, this is all fresh for me. Like, you can you can see little tidbits and everything, and you've always like seen stuff, and like you're like, oh, that's this, and again, it's the same thing I did to you with Halo, where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
no, I see, like, just watching the trailers, you're like, okay, they're doing this,
Yep.
and like for me though, and when you were saying, it feels like Middle Earth, I sat down started watching the first episode, and honestly, like, even like the storytelling that they do with the narration in the beginning, I like relaxed, and I sat down and like expected to watch like a 2 or 3 hour movie.
Oh, yeah.
I sat down and I got in the mood to watch Lord of the Rings, one of the movies.
Yep.
But this one only lasted an hour, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, not a single minute of that hour was wasted,
No,
right?
not at all.
Because, I mean, especially if you're someone like myself who's, like, really deeply plugged into the lore, from the jump, it's like, you got little Galadriel, but then you got her brother Finrod.
Yeah.
That's fucking Finrod Felagund, man. And then, like, I mean, he's a major character. Well, yeah, a major character in the First Age. I mean, he was part of the Exodus from Valinor. He was there, this guy. What I have to take my hat off to the showrunners is that they had access to the same material that Peter Jackson had access to. Meaning they just have the Lord of the Rings and its appendices and the Hobbit. That's it. They don't have access to the Silmarillion. They don't have access to anything else. So, like, at no point in this show is Galadriel ever going to go like, hey, this reminds me of that time, during the Battle of Sudden Flame. Like, they're not going to be able to say that because that's in the Silmarillion. They can't use that. But what they were able to do with that prologue was they did a lot.
They still touched on it.
Right.
Even to the degree where I was like, all you had to say was the Battle of Sudden Flame, and I remember it's like, oh yeah, there's that scene in the opening,
right.
And like you
Right.
see the death of the 2 trees.
Right, and then like what they couldn't go into is that Ungoliant consumed the light of the 2 trees, killed the 2 trees, and they couldn't go into the fact that
right?
Yeah, and they couldn't get into the fact that Morgoth stole the Silmarils, and that's why they swore the oath to chase him to Middle Earth. They couldn't really say that, but they implied it heavily. Even this, there's a small little detail in the prologue when Galadriel's mourning over the body of Finrod, her brother. He's got these claw marks on his skin, right? Now, where Finrod died, was at Tol Angaroth, the Tower of Werewolves, Sauron's fortress, and he was killed by werewolves. And Finrod was actually assisting Beren in trying to reclaim the Silmarils. Right? They can't go into that, but like that little detail of like claw marks on his arms had me going like, ah,
I suppose you'd say that to me. I'm like, wait, Middle Earth has werewolves?
Yeah, and
No, it has
vampires.
werebears.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
about werewolves.
and vampires. In fact, Sauron could change forms. Yeah, Sauron could change forms into a great werewolf.
Well, no, but you say vampires. I'm like, really?
Well, I think Tolkien mentioned it once in the Silmarillion. So yeah, so it's there. It's a thing, right? But then again, it's Middle Earth. There's talking dragons and shit. There's talking trees.
fair.
Like, of course, vampires are there. Why?
I hear werewolves and vampires. I'm like, really? I did not know
Right.
that was in there. It's like, meanwhile, there's dragons and dragons.
Yeah, like it's fucking everything else.
Fair.
And what I gotta say about that first episode was like, and then what's going on with these 3 episodes is like they're laying a lot of foundation, man. They're putting a lot of stuff down. Like from the first episode, you're establishing where Galadriel's at and her kind of militancy, we'll say. Chasing after Sauron.
Oh, she's on her ass.
Oh, I love it.
Like,
I'm
I've
here.
never seen this version of Galadriel ever.
I mean, I'm here for it. And it makes sense, right? Because like there's a few characters that they can pull from the stories, right? Galadriel, Elrond, Gil-galad, Elendil, Isildur, Anarion, Ar-Pharazôn, Miriel. They can pull these characters from the appendices, but everything else they have to fill in. you know, and what they're
I'm not gonna lie. Like when I first saw Elrond in that first episode, I was like, Elrond's a douche, and then I realized he's always a douche.
kind of, but like,
Doesn't really change.
no, I mean, Elrond he's a very interesting character, right? And again, like, it sucks that they can't go more into his story. They kind of allude to certain things, right? Like, I'm going to be jumping all over the place, but you watched episode 3, right? So when Galadriel and Elendil are at the Hall of Lore in Numenor, they see that tapestry.
Yeah,
That's
It's
Elrond.
his brother.
Yeah, Elros. You know, and that's such a neat little thing, because what they can't tell you is that Elrond's father, Eärendil, is the owner of one of the Silmarils, and he's flying a fucking ship in space. He's flying a ship in space, and his ship's name is fucking Vingalot. Right? Like, there's so much stuff that they can't even touch on, but the fact that they don't need that stuff to tell this fucking story is astounding. I have to tip my hat to these fucking showrunners and these writers. They're killing it.
I mean, I will say though, is like I feel like that might be like one. Even if they did have access to it, that might be one of those things that they leave out, just because that does not sound like it would translate well to episodes.
I mean, and where would it come up?
It's a far reach. It's kind of like it's something that sounds like it should just be legend or like mythology to the people in the universe. But it's
right.
like I get that, like with that this is actual canon, that it's actually part of the story, and that it's all true. It's like It's just kind of one of those things. It's like that just sounds like mythology, hocus pocus.
Well, yeah, but that's Tolkien for you, man. It is a lot of fucking mythology, you know. And with this show, it feels like they've struck such a good balance between like what is practical for storytelling purposes and what is fantastical, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting, right? Because like in tandem to watching Rings of Power, I'm also watching House of the Dragon, right? Yeah. So like from a fantasy perspective, we're eating like kings over here, but they couldn't be more different.
Thrones period.
Well, I mean, like, if you want to take those two properties, right? You take Game of Thrones and you take Rings of Power. They couldn't be more different, right? Okay. I mean, there's dragons in both of them. There's fantastical elements. It's, you know, but tonally they couldn't be any more different. Like, you know, sometimes with House of the Dragon right now, I like it, right? I'm going to say that right up front. I like that show. I don't care about any of the characters yet. And that's on me. That's not on the writers. That's not a failing of the show. It's just on me. I don't care about any of the characters yet. So I'm kind of passively watching it, whereas with Rings of Power, I immediately care about these characters. Like, you know, the Harfoots.
Well, you've cared about these characters forever.
True, but the way that they're written, is so compelling. Like the Harfoots, I will murder for them. I will murder for them.
And you know what? You can murder for them all you want. They'll still leave you behind.
But dude, okay, let's talk about that scene though. Let's talk about that scene from episode 3 when they were doing the you know, we will wait for you.
I was about to say they're having like a eulogy for people they've left behind in the past. I'm just like,
dude, but you want
greater good, but god damn.
But do you want to know the most heartbreaking part?
Family.
Yeah, whose family was that?
No idea.
That was Poppy's family, Nori's little friend. Because you can see her tearing up, and she said, "We will wait for you."
Oh,
that was her family.
Her own goddamn cart.
Yes, that was her.
Up.
It's sad, isn't it?
Well, were they wolves? They were killed in they were lost in a mountain pass, like landslide in a mountain pass. Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, dude. Because you got to think, like the Harfoots they're proto hobbits, man. Like the whole, you know, because they're in Rovanion right now, which is in the east. Right? Okay. So they have to eventually move their way west, and they eventually cross the Misty Mountains into Eriador, you know, eventually. But that's like in the third age that they kind of settle in that area. So right now they're kind of nomadic, and they're just kind of moving back and forth.
They were talking about, it sounds like they move between two places depending on the seasons, because they're talking about taking the same paths over and over again.
Mm-hmm. They migrate.
Yeah.
Although I think the Starman's going to have some disruption to that.
Okay, I feel like that is I already said this to you. I feel like that's an infantile Gandalf.
So yeah, we talked about this, and let's drill on that. Because that would be a bold
Yes.
choice, right? Because anyone who knows Tolkien will tell you that wizards don't show up until the Third Age, right? But you look at this character, who we know very little about. He is obviously magical. He obviously fell from the sky from the west. He came from the west, right? So it would make logical sense that he would be a wizard, right? Because not only that, wizards are well known within Middle Earth, and the showrunners are like, yeah, let's fucking put a wizard in there. Why not?
Well, I mean,
Now-
that and, but what appendice does it say that the wizards didn't come until the Third Age?
It's in the appendices.
So it's not something they would have that they could have access to.
No, they could. They could.
Oh, they do have
They could.
access to it.
Yeah, yeah. If they're making it a wizard, they're deciding to throw a wizard in the series, which again, I don't have an issue with. That does not fucking ruffle my feathers one bit. And even then, if you wanted to make it Gandalf, okay, show me what you got. I'm with you on this one.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like that would just be. I feel like what you see in like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings is just like the only thing they tell you is like Sauron doesn't approve of Gandalf's infatuation with hobbits. That's all it is.
Well,
He's just
Sauron's
like,
a dick.
I don't know. I know Sauron's a dick, or Saruman's a dick, but it's just a matter like what is it in The Hobbit? I think he just goes, I don't know why you deal with those creatures or why you like those creatures so much, shit like that. I'm like, come on, man. But
Well,
like,
I mean-
if they were to put him in there early and make it to where like, oh, he fell from the sky and like hobbits befriended him and helped take care of him, so helped him get on his feet in this world. It's like that's endearing as hell, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, like Gandalf, when he was in Valinor, his name was Aloran, right? And he was basically an angel,
Yeah.
right? And if he was indeed sent to Middle Earth in the Second Age, per the show, if that is Gandalf, then, meeting the Harfoots, especially Nori, who is helping him only because it's the right thing to do, that would inform quite a bit about how Gandalf chooses to fight the darkness, right? Because wizards were sent to Middle Earth to kind of undo the hurt of Sauron and Morgoth, right?
Yeah.
So, if that was Gandalf's first introduction into Middle Earth, was these very simple people who, especially this one Harfoot who helped him only because it was the right thing to do. Of course, that would inform him as a character, which would be incredibly compelling, right? Like, I'm not going to be one of those fucking purists that's going to be like, well, actually, it's not the Third Age, so we can't have wizards in here. You guys don't fucking respect the lore. Like, no, fuck off. Fuck all the way off. Like, I can't even, I cannot even fathom the bitch fit that people would fucking throw if it was Gandalf.
You know what you have to say to them? Just remember, history has taught us one thing: is that purists are typically the biggest losers in history.
You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right. And look, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna fucking say it. The assholes, they lost. Right?
Yeah.
You lost. Because guess what? There's elves with melanin. There's Harfoots with melanin.
And the
You
black
fucking-
guy survives.
And you fucking lost. You're racist assholes, you fucking lost. Sit and spin. That's all I'm gonna say. Right? Because I could go into.
I can't believe that is honestly something in 2002 that people are throwing a fit about. Is that just because we haven't seen a person of color in Middle Earth before means that, we can't have people of color in Middle Earth?
Okay, I'm getting on my fucking soapbox now.
No.
Number one. It's and I've said this already. It is a world in which fucking trees talk. Okay? If you can have talking trees, you can have a black elf, you can have a black dwarf, you can have a black Harfoot. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Number two. Tolkien himself did not grow up in a homogenous society, okay? The motherfucker was born in South Africa, and yes, we can have the discussion about colonialism, fuck the queen, okay? We can have that discussion, but he was born in South Africa. He grew up in England, which was not a homogenous fucking society. He served on the Western Front in World War I, which was, again, not fucking homogenous because you had colonial troops all over the Somme. Then he taught at Oxford. Do you think he only taught white people at Oxford?
What year
You
was
fucking
it?
serious? It was like in the 1920s and 30s.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he taught more than white people.
Yeah, of course.
I just had to
Okay.
check the year on that one.
And here's my overall point. And I don't give a fuck if people get pissed off about this, but here's my overall point. It doesn't matter what J.R.R. Tolkien wanted. It does not matter what his son Christopher Tolkien wanted. Do you know why, Brad?
Because they're dead.
Because they're fucking dead. They're fucking dead. Their opinions are now null and void. Okay? Like, these stories don't belong to them anymore. And I know that might sound like heresy. But you know what? You know who the stories do belong to? Us. It belongs to everyone that's ever read them or watched the movies or watched the show and finds something they love about it. It belongs to you now. The opinions of long dead authors don't fucking matter.
Just ask Hemingway.
Exactly. Fuck Hemingway. That guy was that guy was a prick.
Yeah.
Man.
Fuck
And
you,
what
Hemingway.
what did he write? For Whom the Bell Tolls? A Farewell to Arms?
He wrote a few of them. I just know that like he wrote one good one, wrote a couple of bad ones, and then like between getting drunk off his ass and cheating on whichever wife he was married to at the time,
All of them?
He just kind of shit out a solid gold brick every now and then.
I mean, I did read For Whom the Bell Tolls, and that was okay. That was okay. But anyway, all this to say, you racist assholes, you fucking lost. Because you know what? We're all enjoying this fucking awesome Love Fest block party, and you're just over here in your little corners being like, man, not everyone is white. Meh. Like, fuck off. Fuck all the way off. And furthermore,
Give your balls a tug.
some of the, like Arondir, the elf in the Southlands, that guy is a badass.
Oh, the elf of color.
Yeah, the one who was just taken captive by the orcs, right?
Yeah.
That guy's a badass.
He is.
That guy's a fucking badass.
He took a stick. He took a piece off the roots of a tree, and
Yeah.
stabbed an orc in the neck with it. And I
Yeah.
love that.
And just because of that, I hope he gets his wiener wet. I hope. He deserves
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
He deserves it.
He deserves to make some half-elf babies.
That's exactly right. And then you know what? Durin's wife, Disa, delightful.
She was up. I love that character.
Every scene she was in, she stole.
Yeah. I was putting Durin in his place.
I love it, dude. I personally, I loved the Khazad-dûm stuff. Like,
Yeah.
visually, oh my god.
Yeah.
Khazad-dûm looks amazing.
Well, yeah. It looked amazing before too.
Yeah.
It looks amazing later too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And like when his father came down, they opened that chest. You know what's in that chest, right?
No.
Mithril. And you know what they wake up when they're mining for Mithril, don't you?
Oh well. If you watch the preview for the fourth episode, like they take you back to there's like scenes in Khazad-dûm where Elrond is walking around and you hear the Balrog like kind of growl.
Because you know what they wake up when they're mining for Mithril.
Well, yeah. Well, I thought they woke up. I thought they woke it up just by digging too deep. I didn't know it was specifically because they were digging for Mithril.
That's right, Moria Silver. And in fact,
Is
like
Mithril like rare at that time?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
I didn't-
yeah, because at the time it was only found in Moria.
Gotcha.
That's why they called it
'Cause
Moria
I just-
Silver.
like they've never talked about like how rare it is. They just like if you find like a chain, like all they've ever done is like the chainmail shirt made of Mithril.
Yeah, yeah, and then the with the Mithril, because it's so rare. That's why when they were walking through the mines of Moria and the Fellowship, and Gandalf lights that whole thing up, the reason they stopped mining for it was because of the Balrog,
Well, yeah,
because all the dwarves were forced out of Khazad-dûm.
yeah.
Now, I mean, whether we're going to see that,
Balrog.
yeah, I don't know if we're going to see that in season 1 or if they're setting something up for season 2.
I'm kind of hoping we see it in season 1, not just because I want to be like Balrog, but like I know that there was that big monologue with Saruman and like where it cuts from Saruman to Gandalf when they're going into the mines, and all you hear is like one of the things that Saruman said was, "You know what they woke up, old friend."
Yep.
So it's like, which I kind of like in that situation. I kind of think Gandalf was kind of a dick not to bring up the Balrog before they went into the mines.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a calculated risk, right? Like, it was always a calculated risk to go through there.
If it's calculated risk, you need to tell the party about it.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I mean, they tried to cross a mountain and they almost got blown off the side of the goddamn thing. So
I
that
don't
was
know. Something tells me that if you ask some of them which one they'd rather do is cross the mountain that's like being blown up by thunder and lightning, they would rather do that than face the Balrog.
fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, at this point though, I'm still stuck on Numenor. Like, I'm still stuck on that.
Was very well done.
Oh my God.
The only thing I knew about Numenor before this was that it was what I've learned through talking to you, and that is that they were tricked into worshiping Morgoth, and because of that, the gods sunk it.
Yeah, essentially.
That's all I know.
Essentially, and we're gonna build up to that over a number of a number of seasons.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Oh, I'm sure, but it's just a matter of like that's all I've known about it, and like now that I see it, I'm like, holy shit.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like, I mean, I've always imagined what Numenor would look like ever since I read the Silmarillion and read the appendices. I was like, man, that's got to be like the image in my head was far surpassed by what they put out on that show.
Yeah.
And furthermore, the guy they cast to play Elendil, I love that dude.
Oh, Isildur's father.
Yeah, that dude. I mean,
I am not gonna lie. Like, I was just kind of watching this, and then like I heard they name drop Isildur, and I was like, Aragorn's ancestor?
mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like, and I when I saw Elendil on the show, I was like, sir, like this guy is like he fits the image. Like,
oh yeah, he's like a seasoned sea captain.
Yeah, and I love the subtle stuff. Like he's when he's talking with Isildur and his daughter, the name I can't remember at the moment.
It was
like,
something with it ended with like a THAEN.
Yeah, and
like
there's
little mark above the E.
Yeah,
No idea.
and there's tension there when they're having that conversation because Elendil, like literally, the Queen Regent calls him out because of his name. It means elf friend, and like his family's under pressure because they are one of the faithful. They are the few left in Numenor who are still faithful to the Valar and to the oath. Basically,
They're the only ones who aren't racist pricks.
Well, yeah, and that's also a kind of a bitter pill to swallow. If you're really a big fan of Numenor, you've got to watch these people act like assholes because they have this superiority complex, and they're pissed off at the Valar because the elves are immortal and they're not, and they're afraid of death. Essentially, that's where the downfall of Numenor began. It was a fear of death, and then that fear of death led to greed and pride. You know, so you're kind of like it's a bittersweet thing because Numenor is an incredibly powerful kingdom in Middle Earth. I mean,
I could kind of tell.
Yeah, like I mean, they punk out Sauron. They punk out Sauron.
We haven't
like
gotten that far yet.
Not yet. Spoilers. But like, it's gonna be so gratifying, but also mortifying to watch the decline of this empire. You know. Plus, the guy that's playing Ar-Pharazôn, fuck that guy. He looks like a dick. He looks like a dick.
The guy who was talking to the Queen Regent, the
yes,
doctor?
Yeah. Well, he's actually her cousin.
Oh, that's the guy who usurps the throne. Got it.
Yep, and he's instrumental in the downfall of Numenor. Instrumental.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I didn't realize that's who that was.
So let me ask you this: end of episode 3, you get this dude walking into frame, and it never quite comes into focus. Adar.
Yeah.
Who do you think this guy is? I want your idea.
So I feel like this is one of Sauron's forms, because you say, like you've told me before, he can change shapes and all that.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the form he's taking in the Southlands with the orcs to bring them together. And then I feel like, you know, if with the abilities he has and like what he has to accomplish with what he has to accomplish in the time frame that he has and in the setting that he's in, I feel like we're going to see Sauron in like 3 different forms.
Okay. Interesting theory.
And I would say that I feel like Adar would be Because Sauron. Oh wait, no, because that. Never mind. It wouldn't be any of the ring wraiths because that's the king. Those are the kings of men who wore the rings when Sauron used the power of the One Ring.
Now,
So it wouldn't be. I was thinking the Witch King there for a second, but no, it wouldn't.
but it might be because you know what? We don't have a whole lot of in-canon information about the Witch King. There's speculation.
Well, but
that
all we know is that it's one of the kings of men.
Right. So you might be onto something there. That might be the Witch King. Because my theory is that Adar is actually a black Numenorian. That's my theory. That he is actually of Numenor, but he is allied with Sauron. And I think he will be one of the men that receives one of the nine. Because, and my whole thing about this is like with Sauron, what I like what they're doing with him is he's this specter. Right? He's the specter of fear. He doesn't have a physical form
They're
just yet.
treating him like Jaws.
Yes. And
He's out of frame until he strikes.
well, yeah, but we also know how he's going to strike. You know, he's going to ingratiate himself with Celebrimbor. That's how the rings are forged. Which makes me interested because there's only
that happens before the sinking of Numenor.
yeah. So the thing is, I don't even know if we're going to see the forging of the rings in this season. I might be wrong.
Probably not if they're because Elrond and the guy who forges the rings,
Celebrimbor.
they're still trying to make the forge that the
Exactly.
rings are made in.
Exactly. So I don't even
They're still trying to get dwarf support with that.
precisely. I don't even think we're going to get that in season 1.
Probably
you know,
not.
I think they're just laying the foundation. They're laying that brickwork. But with Adar, he's got this almost Mordor look to him. You know, he's got that armor.
Say, like when you brought up vampires earlier, I was like, that kind of explains why that dude looked like that.
Yeah, he's got this
he looks like a fucking vampire.
Right, he looks evil, which isn't in keeping with where Sauron is in the Second Age. In the Second Age, Sauron has assumed the form of Anatar the Fair. He's got a fair form. So I don't know if he would look like menacing and evil yet.
Well, I mean that's why I kind of said I feel like we're going to see Sauron in 3 different forms. And again, he can have a form for the orcs, he can have a form for the Numenorians, and he can have a form for the Northerners.
True.
He doesn't have if he has the ability to shapeshift, he doesn't have to stick with any form.
True. It's going to be really interesting. What I'm really digging.
Anything the motherfucker can multitask.
True. And what I'm really interested in is the Southlands, because it took when I was watching the episode 3, I was like, it's Mordor.
Yeah.
It's Mordor, but it hasn't been Mordorized yet.
It hasn't been mortarized yet.
Right?
Yeah, they haven't built the Black Gates yet.
No, they haven't even scarred the land fully.
Or even they haven't even done the Rangers yet.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, what are the orcs digging for? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, I remember the elves that were captured. They were talking about the orcs looking for something.
Yeah.
And then one of them's actually, in offhanded speech, said maybe they think it's a weapon. I think they're looking for that shard of the sword that dipshit teenager found in his keeping.
Maybe. Which is another weird plot point, which I'm hoping to see come to fruition, because there is a broken black sword in Tolkien lore, but again, it's from the Silmarillion, so they can't really pull from that.
They can't name it. They can use it. They just can't say, "Oh, this is this."
Sword. Oh yeah. This is Gorthang. This is Turambar's sword. You know, I don't know. I mean,
that sword had the weird property. It was trying to pull blood to it.
Right, and so
I
there's
think with pulling the blood to it is what was reforging it.
Yeah, because the Turambar in the First Age, his black sword Gorthang, which was made from a falling star, like a falling meteor, if it killed whoever's blood it tasted. So, there was a point in which Turin cut himself on the blade, and of course then he died by that blade. So anyone who was ever cut by it was eventually killed by it. So maybe, I don't know. And it
has that mark of Mordor in it.
It does. It has Sauron's mark on it. So it's really weird because this is one of those situations where like I know enough of the lore to where I'm like I'm putting things together, but there's still a bunch of shit that I don't know what's going to happen because these writers are taking such good liberties with it. You know, so I don't fucking know.
And I mean, I don't think, because in any of the other movies, we never saw that blade. Like Sauron, clearly we never saw Sauron wielding it because he was a spiritual entity at that point.
Right.
But even in the flashback to that battle of men and elves versus the orcs and Sauron, we like the sword that Sauron was wielding just looked like a standard greatsword. It didn't.
It was a mace.
Was he? Well, he had a mace and a sword.
Yeah. I mean, it was just standard stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, you didn't really see or hear anything. Like even like the stories they told, the only sword that they had like a special story for was Isildur's.
Yeah. And then you get one little glimpse of Sauron in the prologue of the first episode, and he's carrying a staff. You know.
So I mean, it would be interesting to feel. I feel like it'd be if it's that blade that you're talking about. I feel like either it's going to get lost or it's going to get destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Because
I don't know.
Unless it's used for like a singular purpose and then thrown away by the orcs.
God, we'll find out, bro. I mean, like, there's so many threads that are going to get pulled on in the next 5 episodes. You know, all I know is that in 5 weeks, when we're all done with this, we're gonna have. I'm gonna have a glitch, like a major brain glitch, and I'm gonna be down for like 6 months trying to process everything that I just saw.
That's fair.
You know, which fuck it. I'm just happy to be here.
I'm honestly like again like. If this gives you the same feeling that Halo gave me, man, I'm happy for you. I love the fact that you got this for something that you care so much about. Well, and I mean, I'm enjoying the hell out of it too.
Well, yeah, because like if there's 2 fandoms that are like really really special to me, it's Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. Those are probably my 2 most special things to me. You know. To which we're eating fucking fair with that too. I mean, Andor's dropping in just a few fucking weeks, and everything about that show looks like it's going to be fucking amazing.
Oh, I saw it on Disney Plus. Is that just a coming soon thing?
In a few weeks, bro. Like end of the month. Yeah.
I want to watch that shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so good because like the guy that
Star Wars Spy versus Spy.
Bro, the guy that wrote it, Tony Gilroy, he did the Bourne movies. So yeah, like I think Andor is going to.
I can see Cassian being a Star Wars Jason Bourne.
Dude, like
I want to see him I want to see him fuck up some stormtroopers. Honestly,
dude, you know why I'm so hopeful for Andor? Because do you remember the first time you saw Rogue One in theaters? Yeah. And you did not know what to expect when you went. You're like, I don't know what this is going to be. Yeah. And then like in like 20 minutes into that movie, you're like, oh.
It's just like the first 20 minutes you have Jin, who is like on the run from the Empire, or well, just on the run from everybody. Then you have Cassian, who's just murking people, even his own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I remember watching Rogue One for the first time, and I was like, I don't really know what to expect with this, but I'll give it a go. And like half an hour into it, I'm like, oh no, this is amazing. This is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Yeah. I want to see Cassian beat the shit out of like 2 or 3 stormtroopers the way we saw Hellbrand beat the shit out of those pompous ass Numenorians.
Oh yeah. Ooh, the bit where he broke that dude's arm?
Yeah, I want to see that done to a stormtrooper.
Oh, that was
amazing.
That was hard to watch. I was like,
no, I saw that. Like I saw him pin it while I was like, do it. Do it.
That was fucking hard for me. I was like,
just pop. I was like, oh!
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was one of those,
Damn.
No, but like, Andor looks amazing, bro.
Okay, so is Hellbrand like an actual character in lore, or
no, that's an original character.
I feel like that's like I kind of feel like that's gonna turn into like Rohan or some shit.
No, actually, where the Harfoots are from, Rovanian, that's the ancestral homeland of the Rohirrim before they came south. Okay. But with Hallbrand, that he's an interesting character because my theory, and this is a long shot theory, that over the course of these seasons, he will also be one of the men that takes one of the 9 rings.
Yeah, I can see
I-
it. If Galadriel convinces him to retake his throne,
Yeah.
and part of that is to give him a ring of power.
Well, I can see it. I can see his story going sideways. Right,
Yeah.
like right now.
Well,
right now,
it's already sideways. I can see it lining back up and then going sideways again.
right. Like I can see her trying to convince him to unite the tribes and right the wrongs of his ancestors. Right. And then I can see it going sideways on her because he actually buys into what Sauron is selling and then takes one of the rings. That's just my theory. That's my theory. Which would be compelling for the character. It would be compelling for the character. Tragic but compelling.
Halbrand is the Witch King.
Wow. That could do it. That could do it. That could be it. Because even Adar could even become the Mouth of Sauron. Because the Mouth of Sauron was a Black Numenorian. Yeah. So there's 1,000 different ways this can go.
Sauron.
Well, he was at the end of Return of the King when they went to the Black Gate. Did you see that? You saw the extended edition, right? Oh, get out of here! That's it. Show's over.
I've actually legitimately never seen the extended editions of any of them.
Wow. Wow. I'm gonna need about 5 minutes to kind of process this.
I've never thought about it until the last time we talked about Lord of the Rings and you brought up extended editions and I was like, yeah.
Wow. Betrayal. That's what this is. This
I
is,
don't have the time to watch extended editions of those movies. They're already 3 hours.
bro. You're cutting me deep. You're cutting me deep. You're cutting me deep. That hurts. That hurts. That hurts my soul. That hurts my soul.
Almost
Yeah.
as much as me never watching Terminator.
This hurts worse. I'll be straight with you. I would rather. I'd rather get COVID all over again. So we're gonna go ahead and skip this. We're gonna skip this. We're gonna skip this. You know what? Fuck it. On that, that's a fine note to close the show out. That's a fine note to wrap it up. We started with optimism and we ended with disappointment.
We should get to that by now.
Oh, of course. All right, man. Well, let's fucking land this bird. Where can everyone find you, bud?
They can find me on Twitter at Intrepid Co-host. You can find me on Steam, Pandora117. You can find me on Xbox Live at Grenadier117. Where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Force_losers when I deign to tweet. I also have an Instagram, but I don't really post anything to that anymore because, being an adult is hard and I spend a lot of time at work and focusing on work, so I really don't do a whole lot else now.
Dude, work videos.
No, just
You
no.
go into a vacant unit that you have to treat, and it's just wall-to-wall of roaches.
No,
Show people what pest control has to deal with.
no. I am not their dancing monkey. I am there to take their money, but I'm not there to be their
Seal, you bastards.
But yeah, you guys can find the podcast anywhere you can find podcasts. You can go to anchor.fm, you can go to Apple, you can go to fucking Spotify. That's where I listen to my shit. But beyond that, we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us again tonight. We will be back soon to talk about something, provided we have, I don't know, something maybe. Thor: Love and Thunder, or if Brad ever wants to get off his ass and watch She-Hulk or Miss Marvel or anything like that.
Hey, I'm busy.
I'm busy, and I can't enjoy myself.
No, you know what? When you have a 2-year-old who stands there, points at the TV, and says, "Meet Mickey," and she wants to watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and if you don't do it, you're liable to get a tantrum on your hands. Yeah.
That's your problem.
What does she say for Bounce Patrol? It's Bow Pow? Bow Pow?
That's your problem, pal.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta figure that one out. Throw her a Benadryl, put her down for a nap.
Oh, God. So, we were talking to her. We told her to do something. Like we told her to put something back where she got it. She goes, no, because that's the point she's at in her life where she just wants to say no to everything, even if the answer is yes. So she'll just go no. She just went no, and Brooke goes, "Excuse me, don't you say no to me?" And she just goes no. And then Brooke says, "If you say no to me one more time," and before she can finish the sentence, no, 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 no. It's like,
Well, that is your daughter.
that's what she said.
I
No, literally, that's what my wife said.
know. I believe you. I absolutely believe you.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not
Well-
gonna say it's not me. But
No. If you are the magnanimous asshole, if you're the magnanimous asshole that you are, and you are not raising a second magnanimous asshole, you're failing.
that's fair.
So, on that note, I just called his daughter an asshole. So,
I'm her father. I'll second that. I mean, kids are assholes.
again, folks, thank you so very much for hanging out with us. We will be back very soon. Until then, are you ready, Brad?
I'm ready.
Let's land this bird. Ready? Here we go. And a wanna, and a two, and a three. Let it, bitches! Fuck!
Motherfucker.